top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Well, you better get your glasses on and you better get ready to tally up some stats and notes here because we are ready to go. And we don't do this. We don't do this color coordination by accident, okay? It's like literally it just happens. Samuel is wearing
I wore
black.
the red
I
one
am wearing
already.
black. I mean, seriously. I mean, I didn't even know that you were wearing a black shirt, but it looks good on you, my friend. Welcome to coverage of the Northwest
it was a
iRacing
last
Truck
minute thing.
Series. Well, we're in this together, okay? You see, I got mine poked out for you as well. So, yes, welcome to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. It is presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the Windy City 200 at Chicagoland Speedway. If you thought the Cup race was exciting on Monday night, I think the trucks are going to be even more exciting. Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. What do you think we're going to see tonight, buddy?
I think tonight going to be a mixture of kind of similar to what we saw Monday night. Drivers going to be on top of one another and going to be trying to gain everything they can. Was hearing from the drivers all week long. ARCA as well for Cup. It was all about the draft. Similar factors here with the truck cars, but been hearing a lot of rumblings that drivers have made their setups a little looser than usual, just trying to get a little bit of extra speed, which means early portions of this race, we could be seeing a couple of early cautions. But if we can get through the first 5 laps without a caution, hey, we might see this race. There's a potential. We could go green all the way.
Yeah, I mean, that honestly, that is a possibility. But I still believe this is Chicagoland. This is the playoffs. I still think there's going to be some wild cards and some crazy shenanigans in the mix. I think it's going to make the racing so interesting. We are ready to go here at Chicagoland Speedway. This is going to be an awesome race in the Windy City 200, 200 miles, 134 laps. The trucks, Samuel, 4 races to go, counting tonight before we crown a champion.
Yeah, tonight is the second race of the round of 8. So drivers, this is the halfway point where you need to make sure you're hitting your marks. We already know Devin West locked in, going to be racing for a championship. It's all about finding those next 3 drivers in the truck series tonight. Who's going to take that spot? And also been looking at the roster of the drivers that are here. Kevin Smith's back from vacation, showing up just in time for this second race. So we'll see what the Double Zero has, because he's been one of the fastest drivers during this early portion of practice. We'll see if he can translate that to race time.
Well, the picks are ready. Obviously, as always, our producer in the LSRTV production truck is going with Jeff Stab now. Maybe, just maybe, tonight could be the night for him to at least get a win on the season. Samuel Dyer, who you riding with tonight at Chicagoland?
I haven't picked this guy in a while, but I'm going to change things up because he's racing with a little bit of frustration after not winning on Monday night. I'm going with the 37. Caden Anderson's going to be my pick. And I had about 4 different drivers that I was throwing in rotation that I was thinking about. I could tell you picked Caden as well. But, man, I was honestly thinking Caden's running with a little bit of aggression because of the fact that he missed out on his win Monday night. He's been one of the fastest in trucks, but we'll see. What does all the other drivers have? Because like I said, I had 4 other drivers that I had on my list, but I had to stick with the 37.
You copy me. My pick. Boom. Down there. There it is. Caden Anderson. By the way, don't ever call me Wes's pick again to win. I don't like Wes. I like Wesley. Wesley won't fit. That Wesley won't fit. It's too long. Well, thank you. So anyhow, Samuel, man, you're reading my mind. You're wearing my same clothes colors. You're picking my same guy. And I think you're exactly right, buddy. You look at what he's done at Iowa Speedway. You look at what he's done on the 1.5-mile intermediate tracks. I think tonight will be the night for the 37, the driver out of Yakima, Washington, of the Harvest Chevrolet, to win here tonight in the trucks at the Chicagoland Speedway. Who's your picks in the chat box? Put in who you're riding with. We're going to get things started very, very soon. We go to on-track activity when we come back. The LSRTV, of course, 411, the weather conditions, and, of course, that Team 126 Racing starting lineup straight ahead as we get ready to go racing at Texas. First, a word from our sponsor of LSRTV and CRN Sports coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. We're rocking and rolling. And hey, Samuel, another thing we forgot to talk about, buddy, we're under the lights. We're even darker tonight than we were around dusk for the Cup race on Monday night.
Yeah, I got to be running with drivers under the lights. So weather conditions should stay pretty consistent for these drivers, which is a good thing because with the trucks here tonight, they're in an open setup, meaning you can make adjustments. If you feel like you need to get your truck a little bit looser or tighter and find that stabilization, you can do that here tonight.
Should be a good one here at the virtual Chicagoland Speedway as racing is coming up here very, very shortly. Drivers are going through their final qualifying. Then they're going to do the drivers' meeting. The drivers' meeting will then get the race underway for 200 miles, 134 laps, and that is all part of the LSR TV race information calendar right there on the bottom left of the monitor. You see it, 30-minute practice, done. 2-lap qualifying is ixnay and done on that. We're going to go 200 miles, 134 laps. Now, remember, overtime if needed, double overtime, 2 attempts at a green-white checker, Samuel. We want to make sure we got that clarified in the regular season as well as in the playoffs. And could there be a possibility we might need to use that here tonight, Samuel?
There's a slim possibility of us going into overtime here tonight. Chicagoland, more well known for having fuel strategies where we can stay for a really long green flag runs. And I think we're expecting to see similar things here tonight. But if late cautions come out and there's 30 laps to go, the intensity's up. It's playoff racing. Most likely we could see a lot of cautions compounding if we see a lot of late cautions coming out.
Let's take a look at the point standings leading into this race. Obviously, 41.98 total for Devin West. Devin West won last week in the event at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. What a wild race that was. Caden Anderson sitting at number 2. 40-49 back, and of course 40-41 for Dennis Moore. Ryan Bloom are currently your 4 drivers that would go into the championship at Las Vegas if it finished tonight. But still, you've got the races at Chicagoland tonight to run, New Hampshire next week, then it's on to Homestead, followed by Vegas for the finale. But there you see those 4 currently locked in. Dan West Jr., Sean Breitzman, Tyler King, Kevin Smith. He's got to climb out of a hole, Samuel. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, he's been on vacation for the past week and a half and finally coming back for tonight's race. So missed out last week, now going to be in a 40-point hole. And yes, there is a very slim chance of pointing his way back into the top 4. But for Kevin Smith, most likely for the rest of this round of 8, we're going to be seeing the 00 in a must-win scenario. He's got to be either finding the speed here tonight or next week or the week after. And if he can't, no longer going to be seeing the 44 battle for a championship.
We certainly will. We'll watch them as, of course. Now, let's take a look at your LSRTV weather conditions on the bottom right. There it is. No change. 74. The virtual ambient temperature, the virtual track temperature is 96, just 2 degrees warmer. Then you have 8-mile-per-hour wind speeds going and partly cloudy skies. Very comfortable conditions, Samuel, for tonight's iRacing event here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, that wind is going to be something to watch out for the straightaways on if it's going to help the trucks out or if they're going to be wheeling loose coming out of the corners. But a little bit on the warmer side than what we've been seeing all week here at Chicagoland. So expect to see these drivers. I mean, yes, it's cooled off. There's going to be a lot of grip, but it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers all week working on their setups, were they prepared for only mid-70s for the track temp.
Yeah, it certainly is. The stage is set. The chat box, who we riding with? Hello to some people chiming in. It's time to go racing, man. That's Team Outlaw Motorsports. And by the way, happy birthday to Will Duvall. Will Duvall celebrating a birthday. What did you say? Oh, my singing is done. Okay, I just said happy birthday. What's up, Wesley? That's from Samuel and SpongeBob from the Animal, Keith Bradley. He won a truck race the other night with NASRA. NASRA returning in 2022. Matter of fact, there is a special NASRA event on Saturday, October 30th on LSRTV. By the way, James Thurston says, not me. I'm saying who you're riding with. He says, not me. Comments, chat's coming in. RGL Motorsports, okay, King FaceTime. You're exactly right. It's coming up here very soon. So definitely, we're getting ready to grid them. Let's fire them up. Team 126 Racing starting lineup. We're about to go 200 miles, 134 laps around the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. And what do you know, Samuel? On the pole, Kevin Smith back from vacay. And the Hermiston, Washington native is on the pole in the Tom D'Enchilado Group 00. To the outside, Stephen O'Hare in the 41, row number 1. Row 2 on the grid, Caden Anderson, your pick, my pick, everybody's pick, except Jeff Stabnow riding with the producer. Troy Daggett in 51, that's row 2. Row 3, Will 5, Dennis Moore in 44. To his outside, Ryan Bloom in the number 25 machine. Row 4 on the grid, Eric Cheney, there's Big Bird, 76 machine to the outside. Mean Green, Dan Lowther in car number 63. To round out your top 10, Tyler King, the racetrack king of the Pills Oranges, number 21, alongside winner last week, his son, Devin West. Let's see if Daddy can do it tonight. Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington. He'll start 10th.
Then back in row number 6, we find Frank Harris. A great qualifying time for the 11. He did the same thing Monday night with that of Robert Campbell to the outside, finishing out row number 6. Row 7, finding that of Russ Lundberg, who's, well, going to be having the 2. James Thurston. Thurston, very strong run on Monday night in the Cup cars. See if we can translate it here tonight. Jeff Stabnow in the 24, going to be back starting out row number 9 with the Catman, James Vining in the 333 for row number 8. Then we're going to be seeing winner from last week at that of Gateway. It's going to be Devin West in the 5 with newcomer Will Duvall in the 85. Finishing out row number 9. Row 10, Gonna be John Ottenbacher and Sean Breitzman. Pushing out that row. Sean's got a lot of work. He wants to get back up front.
Row number 11 will find Stephen Paulison, Daytona Cup winner in 58. Casey Garber to the outside, row 11. Row 12 on the grid will find Ray Fournier, one of the dash winners at Daytona earlier in the year. 26 to the outside, B.J. Tidrick. Had some bad luck in the Cup race on Monday. Hopefully he'll turn it around to the truck. Row 13, Bug-Eyes, Aaron Cooper in the 71 to the outside. Scott Hutchinson in the 91. In row 14, starting shotgun on the field, Bryce Clark in the 93. 27 starters ready to go here at Chicagoland. Samuel, your final thoughts before we take green.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how these first about 5 to 10 laps are going to go. It's going to be proving grounds of who's being too aggressive on who's up front. Then after that, we'll see what drivers have been patient, how well they are on the long run.
Ready to go here at Chicagoland. As the field is set, the pace car is in. Here they come to the starting box. Kevin Smith, welcome back to work in iRacing. Green flag in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a race, and we are underway here at Chicagoland. Opening lap, Kevin Smith down to the inside. Anderson will follow. Smith down, leading. He's got now O'Hare. Those trucks with Daggett and Moore coming after him. Top 5 with also Moore down the back straightaway. Opening lap in turn 3.
Yeah, and it's going to be that of Smith, O'Hare. O'Hare going to watch out for that 41 team as well as the 44 of Dennis Moore and the 21. All going to be drivers that have been very quick, but out of turn 4, driver off course. Looks to be possibly the 129 that had issues.
Your opening lap. It looks like Russ Lundberg with a problem there in the 129 machine. However, we will still stay green. Lundberg losing the pack big time. It's now O'Hare to the lead. Kevin Smith will fall back second. And they'll fan back out single file below the apron, Anderson and Moore. Also, Ryan Bloom. That racing heats up back to turn 1.
Yeah, and up front still, we're seeing Smith, kind of usual what we've seen him. That's tonight going to be his 7th pole position of the season for the 00. But he's only gotten 1 win in 2 top 5s all season long, showing Kevin Smith has very quick short run pace. Once the race goes on a longer run where the 00 starts to fade back, we'll see with his vacation time the 00 had if he's found a little bit more of searching speed for himself. Also got reports on what happened with the 129. Looks like got loose was Russ Lundberg and Jeff Stabnow running over and getting a little bit of damage on the front bumper of the 24 team.
Well, there's Jeff Stabnow again. Sounds like we're already getting reports that he had some bad luck there, as a lot of drivers are donning the pink on their vehicles in observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the month of October. And remember, also the LSRTV ticker is in pink. The logo is in pink. You're seeing on the upper left of the monitor. And this is the final, probably, week of racing before we go back to our regular colors again, because my goodness, Samuel, my birthday's October 1st. You know this. We did an ARCA race on my birthday. This month has flew by. Like, wow, where did it go?
Yeah, it really did take off. And it's over in a blink of an eye, kind of similar to the way that today's race, I mean, the whole entire season has been going, as Dennis Moore almost running over the 37's bumper. But it's been awesome to see all the great racing each and every day that comes in. And just after watching great racing, everything just seems to go so much faster, Wesley, when you're having fun.
Certainly does. Fun times working lap 5 completed here. Lap 6 now this time by, working on lap number 7. As O'Hare is the man out in front, Smith in second. There's Ryan Bloom on board with him in the 7th position. He's got Cheney and Daggett in front of him, or behind him, actually. You're watching on the monitor down the back straightaway, the Brandt back straightaway into turn number 3. Very unique racetrack. Yeah, that tri-oval in turn number 4. Kind of similar to like a big Michigan or an Iowa or even a Richmond. And this is exactly what kind of way Chicagoland is.
Yeah, whenever I think of Chicagoland, the next track that comes close to it in my mind is more of like Kansas. That's like the next closest track I would think of them. You see more to the inside, trying to make the pass for third. And Wesley, we're seeing right now, early on, drivers trying to stay low, but as the run continues on, when we're 15 laps on these tires, it's when we expect to see some of these drivers starting to drift up, maybe a lane or two higher to try to find a little bit more speed.
That's right. Does this battle early going? Everybody kind of, for the most part, just being nice to one another. As you see, Dan West Jr. on the inside of Dan Lowther. Got Dennis Moore. Anderson in front of him as he's trying to run down Smith for second. There's O'Hare. You saw a little glimpse of the 41. These trucks, top 8, fighting for him in a pack down into turn 1. Wow.
Yeah, we're seeing right now, Kane Anderson, he wants to get going. Dennis Moore kind of following suit. And contact is going to be made. That to go around. As you just saw on the exit of the corner, Anderson just not able to get back on the throttle, and it hurts Moore the most. As here comes Dan West Jr. They're going to be 3 wide, Wesley, through 3 and 4.
Yeah, they'll stick it 3 wide. We'll watch them again as they come through the tri-oval, back down below the apron. What we talked about on Monday, remember, they can go below the yellow line. It's fair game. 3 wide again. If Lowther can get up there, make it happen. He can't. Bloom inside, outside. Daggett side by side after Lowther and Moore. Weston Smith all going at it from 3rd to 8th out of turn number 4.
And Dan Lowther in the 63. You see him in the bright green as we get to see aerial coverage covered by and presented by that of LiveSimRacing.com. And really getting to see the 63. He wants to go moving forward, but he's struggling to find which lane is the most preferred to be. And it's just, we're seeing the stalling out now of the 55 of the 00, that being of Dan West Jr. Kevin Smith. Smith's just struggling right now, and it seems like it takes about a lap or two for anyone to really make a pass on the 00. By the time that they do, they've burned off so much rubber, it's hard for them to even challenge and move forward as Stephen O'Hare continues to pull away.
Watching them as they work their way off forward. Look at this inside Bloom. Lowther, he's got more in front of him. Great racing. Honestly, Samuel, I am impressed that these guys have been going 3 wide on several occasions, side by side, several laps here, and they all are just being patient. They're not making any crazy daring moves, if you will, to try to take each other out.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the thing of seeing these drivers in the early portions. In those first 5 to 10 laps, drivers are being aggressive. They've got the fresh rubber. It might take them a lap or two to finally heat up their tires on the right side to have enough grip, so they're not sliding when they get back on the throttle. But another factor on why we're seeing these drivers be able to be so comfortable being 2-3 wide at times is that this is an open setup league. So the drivers have spent all week getting the truck set up properly, so it's a comfort level for these drivers. They feel comfortable in the fact that they can try to force it 2 or 3 wide, and that their truck's gonna stick each time that they get back on the throttle, and they're not gonna become a pinball in the middle of this field.
Back across the start and finish line, back in the 1 and 2, as O'Hare and Anderson battling there. Up the racetrack goes Daggett. So I want to explain to you all these rainbow colors on this legend. Okay, keep up with me now. Look at the legend. The green in 15th is Devin West. He is locked in the Championship 4 finale at Vegas. Drivers that are currently in the top 4 that Samuel and I mentioned when we came on the air during pre-race: Caden Anderson, Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom. Those drivers are right now in the top 4 in the point standings. Drivers in orange are outside the top 4. That is including Dan West Jr., Tyler King, Sean Brightsman. And in red is Kevin Smith, who must win, which means he can't go in by virtue of the points. He must win to advance in to the championship 4. Now, with that being said, Samuel, blue, orange, red could become green, and you're racing for a championship.
Yeah, just one simple victory here, either tonight, next week at New Hampshire, or the week after that at Homestead, could give you a shot to race for a championship. And, getting a win, especially for Devin West, you see him running back on our ticker in 14th as we see this amazing action, figuring out who's going to be in that third place position. But having that win takes the pressure off the 5. He doesn't have to do well here tonight. He just needs to show up, and he'll be moving on to the championship race.
That's right. It's that simple. Win, and you're in. And you can be in the red, like we was talking about earlier. Improve, your chances improve, you climb up the ladder. Lowther trying to battle with Moore. Those are playoff contenders / non-playoff contenders. By the way, if you look at some of the drivers that are in the colors on the scoring ticker, they have a green spoiler, a Deglo green spoiler, and also a Deglo green Tom Denchel Auto Group Playoffs logo on the top visor of their roof, of their windshield. And you see it right there. See it on the 37? See O'Hare? O'Hare, a non-playoff contender. And look at Anderson.
Coming
Samuel,
after number 2.
Your pick, my pick, going for the lead, my friend.
Yeah, he is. He tried to make the move kind of at turn number 4. Now going into turn number 3 this go around. We'll see if he can get the momentum. But Caden Anderson truly has just been marching his way forward. Has been running anywhere from 100th to a 10th off. He's been trying to find that equal equilibrium of where he can really find that true speed. And right now, you can see the 37 on the inside trying to make a pass over that of Stephen O'Hare. And O'Hare just running a groove higher and getting enough speed and momentum out of the corners to keep this lead position. And this is when that fresh air, dirty air factor starts to kick in. I was noting on the fact drivers might want to think about moving up a half a groove to a full groove to find a little bit of extra speed. And that's what's been keeping Stephen O'Hare in this lead position.
In the Windy City 200, working out lap number 22 complete. We'll give you that full field rundown at lap 25. Is right now O'Hare, Anderson fighting for the lead down the back straightaway into that third turn. Still a lot of racing, though, Samuel, left to go on this Wednesday night here at Chicagoland, virtually on iRacing.
And you see the 63 falling back, got into the outside wall after a little bump from Sean Bridesman, and then the 63 has just been going backward, showing just getting into the outside wall, and he was into the outside wall for a lot of the time. So we're right on board with that of Dan Lowther, and he's now going to find himself back up to speed, but he went from running up in 6th place to now all the way back to practically last. He's all the way back to 15th. A lot of work to be done for the 63 to get back up into the top 10.
You know, this is a special day, Samuel, for Community Radio Network. I know we announced the other day that we were celebrating about a week or so ago the 1-year anniversary of partnering with LSRTV and the CRN One to Go, and it still remains. But this is actually, well, yesterday, still today for you. October 27th, 2018 was when 3 and Out Radio, based out of Texas, was bought out from my friend Trey Snott and myself, and we created what is now the Community Radio Network. And there is so many great things coming. Obviously, we love our relationship with LSRTV Productions and Rocket Media for iRacing, for the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. We've covered so many other events along the way. Maybe we want to start broadcasting NASRA again. We did some NASRA events back in the day. Maybe the Sim 500 League. A lot of cool stuff going on. We always enjoy doing that radio atmosphere while you're watching, or maybe you're driving and you're on the road and you can't watch. but if you hit the radio link and you go to wearecrn.com, you're able to hear the broadcast. It just took it to another level. And, of course, what we've done with football and basketball, baseball, softball, obviously volleyball and soccer now this year. The iRacing coverage has been so phenomenal. I get so many messages and responses from out into Division II NCAA college sports, waiting for the contracts to be signed and the checks to be in the mail. And, of course, Samuel, finish line, man. What'd you think of that California driver, Derek Thorne, being on with us this morning as we have this battle for the lead, as here comes O'Hare and Anderson going at it here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, while you were given the promo for CRN, they've been battling for the past 5 laps. Is Stephen O'Hare and Caden Anderson been at the doors? Window is the 37, continuing to just try to pressure. At this point, for Caden Anderson, he is trying to get right on the back bumper and force O'Hare to make a mistake. Maybe dive into the corner a little bit too soon. And here comes the 37 to the inside as we ride on board with Caden Anderson, trying to get back into the throttle. And this could be his best shot, but no, you see the 41 on the back stretch. Gets the run out of turn 2 and holds on for the lead once again. But knocking on the door with how much they've been battling back and forth. Dan West Jr. is not too far behind.
That's exactly right. Dan West Jr. now one of those drivers in orange outside the top 4 that needs to win to obviously, or honestly, Samuel, he can have a decent points day, but obviously you want the win. You want the win, just like Anderson right now trying to run down O'Hare. Second pays nothing. I mean, yeah, it does, but second's not a win. If Anderson gets that win, or one of those guys in the colors get a win, that's a shot for the championship for them. No matter what happens from here tonight at New Hampshire, at Homestead, they know that at Vegas they're racing for a championship.
Yeah, it's all about getting to Vegas and making sure you're in those final 4. He's right on board with Tyler King and seeing Devin West, who has been just chipping away each and every lap. Devin West, our second tied with the second most positions gained since qualifying. Been moving up forward, but it's Tyler King in the 21. The 1 out of 3 drivers from Beaver State Racing that coming into tonight really thought that we were going to see Beaver State as a team succeed. Right now, you're seeing Stephen O'Hare leading this race, but he's not the other 2 drivers of our front. Of our Beaver State drivers that are in the playoffs. As we move back up front, Caden Anderson, he could slide up and take the lead, Wesley.
He certainly can, as he will do just that going back into turn number 1. Look at the 37 Chevrolet Silverado, that burgundy and white silver Harvest Chevrolet entry from Yakima, Washington to the top spot. As Stephen O'Hare falling back to second. And Samuel, you remember how crazy Stephen O'Hare's ride was. He had to win at Talladega to advance to the playoffs, and he did just that. And now he survived through the round of 16, a round of 12, to make it down to the round of 8.
Yeah, O'Hare was not able to make it into the round of 8, sadly, but he certainly has been putting on a show, showing, hey, I might not be there, but now all of my focus is on each race and just winning. That is the goal of the 41, but here comes now Dan West Jr., who's just been patient, letting the front 2 battle it out. And for Dan West Jr., he has to make this pass quick, because you also see behind the 00 of Kevin Smith, our pole sitter. He's closing in as well.
Cross the start-finish line. By the way, we're 35 laps in, coming up on under 100 laps to go. We got a truck off the pace down below the bottom of the apron. We'll keep an eye on that, monitor that, but we are still green flag as the field roars down the back straightaway. We are currently 35 laps in this time by. Let's give you trouble. They're wrecking.
They are wrecking right now. Problems. It's Troy Daggett got issues for himself and many others collected, but they stay straight. And somehow no yellow is thrown, but chaos in the middle of the field. And for Troy Daggett, a driver that qualified so well, quickly lost a lot of ground and went from battling up in the top 10 to now back to 18th place. Heavily damaged is that of the 51.
By the way, all top 8 trucks are currently in the top 10. They got tailgates in front of them all as they work their way down the back straightaway. One truck, the monkey in the middle, if you will, in third. That is Stephen O'Hare. Everyone else is one of the 8 colored entries that are blue, green, red, orange. They're in right now, the top 10. And we work now lap number 36. Full field rundown with under 100 laps to go in the Windy City 200 at Chicagoland. Caden Anderson leads. Dan West Jr. is in second. Third is Stephen O'Hare. Fourth is, of course, Kevin Smith, followed by Ryan Bloom in fifth. Dennis Moore is sixth. Seventh is Sean Brightsman. Devin West is eighth. Tyler King ninth. James Thurston the top 10. Casey Garber is 11th. Dan Lowther is 12th. James Vining 13th. And Robert Gamble right now, Samuel, halfway through the field in the top 14.
Yeah, then it's going to be Stephen Paulson, John Ottenbacher, Eric Cheney, Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow, who's really just trying to come back from those early issues. Frank Harris, BJ Tidrick, Aaron Cooper, Ray Fortner, Scott Hutchinson, Will Duvall going to be the last drivers on the lead lap with Russ Lumberg. And Bryce Clark was that driver that was down below that you were talking about that was really slow.
That's right. Russ Lumberg, the one that had that problem, if you remember, and Bryce Clark also with issues having to come down to the pits and sell several laps down. Anderson, West, O'Hare, Smith, Bloom. Look at this. This is Bloom and Moore battling. Couple of playoff
Bloom and Moore,
guys
they've
that
been
are
battling
right
like
now.
this for a while now, and they just continue to duke back and forth. While we were talking about the whole entire leaderboard and where drivers lie, it's been side-by-side racing between these two. And for Dennis Moore, he is certainly trying to move forward, and he sees his teammate was doing well in the first half of this race, and now Dennis Moore trying to get up front and get close to where O'Hare is, as Moore cannot let Dan West Jr. gain too many positions. And speaking of Dan West Jr., you see it on the board, 55, leading the run, but he's side-by-side with Caden Anderson.
And there's Anderson with West. That's Dan West Jr. As here comes now Dan Lowther coming down to the pit lane. Lowther in 63. Currently in 23rd. Eric Cheney also on the pit lane. So, Samuel, it looks like the back marker trucks are starting to come down to the pits, but the front runners are still staying on track as we pass lap number 40 completed.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing drivers coming in here looking anywhere from lap 45 to 50 is the window that we're looking for a lot of these front runners. But for Dan Lowther and Eric Cheney, both involved with wrecks earlier on, when I notified that we were seeing a wreck and there was no yellow, it was because Eric Cheney got bumped into the outside wall extremely slow, got ran over by Dan Lowther, and drivers now coming into pit road due to they got as far as they can go, felt like they was going to lose too much ground. And now feeling like they just need to get tires, use that fast repair, get back out in the mix of things as we continue to watch the battling for 5th place. But Wesley, our biggest mover of the day, Sean Brightsman up 13 positions in 7th and could be gaining 2 more spots here.
We're watching as Sean Brightsman trying to make a run here, going after 2 for 1. And while that goes on, Moore and Bloom are continuing to battle. This is for the top 5. And this is for 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack, fighting for position.
And more drivers into pit road. Robert Gamble, as well as James Vining, Stephen Paulson, all coming in as a group. And now coming out of pit road, also going to be Casey Garber and Aaron Cooper. And these are drivers that were inside of the top 15 of Gamble, Vining, and Paulson, getting their service done, get back out there as soon as possible, but you don't want to make any mistakes. As James Vining, it looks like 333 got caught up with a mistake, and here comes now of our top 10. It's Kevin Smith, the first of those.
So green flag pit stops are now ongoing. We figured Samuel, between what, buddy? Between about 43 to 47 laps, we're thinking, on a tank of fuel. They'd have to pit tires as well, maybe.
It's about like 45 to 50 is the window for most drivers. If you're pitting
Oh,
before
wow.
lap, 45, you're most likely doing an undercut trying to advance with fresher tires. CK and Anderson did pit road, same for Ryan Bloom and James Thurston following the strategy of the 37. But a lot of drivers, their goal is to try to pit here and try to turn this race into a two-stop race to make it to the end. So drivers then going to be aiming around lap 90 to 95 to come and finish out this race.
More trucks dropping down, giving up the lead onto the pit lane. West comes in. Moore comes in. Devin West is in, and that now brings Sean Brightsman to the lead at the start-finish line. Tyler King pits. So does Thurston. Duval, Fournier, top 15, all on the pit lane in front of Samuel.
Yeah, and all these drivers that are coming in cannot make a mistake of speeding into pit road. We're going to keep our eyes out and see if anyone's going to be caught speeding, as we've seen drivers such as Caden Anderson got bumped into speeding on Monday night that ruined his shot of winning Monday in the Cup Series. As here comes now of Sean Brightsman into pit road, and last driver that is on our eyes that needs to make a pit stop going to be that of Scott Hutchinson in the 91. But for Sean Brightsman, biggest mover of the day, becoming one of our last drivers coming to pit road. I like this call from the 90s, from the 46. He's been looking extremely quick, as now Scott Hutchinson into pit road, finishing out our pit cycle.
As the leaders work their way back out of turn number 4 down the front stretch. There's Kevin Smith. Good run so far for him. Sitting in third, contact right there in front of the leaders. Wow. 85, Will Duvall, lap truck, and he's in the wall. Will Duvall slams hard into the outside retaining wall. No caution yet. Will Duvall has wrecked. We still stay green as Scott Hutchinson brings the champion spark plug 91 onto the pit lane. But look at how pancaked the passenger side is on the 85 of Duvall, Samuel. Wow.
Yeah, Will Duvall had 3 drivers such as Smith, Anderson, and West all on top of one another. Instead of looping it, losing it, and going into our 3 playoff drivers, went with the option of just throwing his truck into the outside wall, got too loose, and 85 went with ruining his day instead of ruining others.
And the caution is out. Will they see
Caution
it?
is not
No, they
out.
won't. That was the question they were wanting, was to see that caution flag come out, Samuel, is what I was trying to say, buddy. Was obviously with that, we had one incident where we thought the yellow would throw.
Oh,
It's
boy,
now
Dan
Dan
West
West
Jr.
Jr.
drifted
dirt
in.
tracking. Wow. Samuel, good save on the 55 there. Man.
An amazing save, but all that time and ground, he's got to build it back up, and he's got to be worrying the 41, Stephen O'Hare, one of the fastest trucks on the short run, and oh no, Smith and Anderson wreck and bring out the yellow.
Uh-oh, Kevin Smith, Caden Anderson wrecked off of 4. This will now draw the caution on lap number 50. It was bound to happen, and now it finally has. Yellow flag.
It's going to be on the front stretch, but you see Anderson trying to get down at the quarter panel, and he's going to stay right at the quarter panel, left side of the 00 out of turn 4, stays there as they're coming across the line, and it just looks like a little bit of Smith expecting Anderson to go down onto the apron. Never did. Contact made by both of our leaders.
All right, so Samuel, we're looking at the caution. We're looking at this opportunity here. We are going to go to commercial break, but I got to ask you though before we do go to break: is anybody going to come to the pits that just pitted recently? Do you think they're going to come back and pit again?
Only the people that were involved in that wreck are going to be coming into pit road, that's for sure.
And that is Caden Anderson and Kevin Smith, the 37 and the 00. Quick break. Back for more. And, well, here comes, Anderson in. Smith will probably follow behind him. And we'll be back for more from Chicagoland in a moment.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the Community Radio Network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
We're back here at Chicagoland. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside. Race analysis is Nah. Remember that song, Samuel? Yeah, I digress. And we have LSRTV Productions in the house doing a great job, of course, from Rocket Media. We have Dan West Jr. out in front. Samuel, we saw son Devin win last week. Could we see Daddy West get it done tonight at Chicagoland?
Yeah, I mean, talking about last week, Dan West Jr. was the odds-on favorite driver last week. It was a pit mistake and kind of an error coming out of pit road, misjudging the blend line for the 55, caused him to have to come back into pit road, kind of throwing away Dan West Jr.'s race last week. That's also another reason why he's outside looking in, coming into this week, 5th in points, but only by 2 points over Ryan Bloom. And for the 55 team, coming in tonight, was one of those drivers that was on my list. I had Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, as well as I had that of Sean Breisman on my list of drivers to watch out for, as well as Caden Anderson, who I picked to be my favorite driver to win here tonight. Certainly, no surprise to see the 55 up front. A lot of speed with this team, and excited to see if he can translate it to a win. But Wesley, you asked me at the start of the broadcast how today's race was going to go. Well, now that we got a lot of drivers that have been quick up front in the middle of the pack, I would not be surprised if we start to see a couple of cautions lay over one another.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right as well, bud. We're going to definitely keep an eye on it, as the old cliche, cautions breed cautions. And I wonder if that is actually what will take place here. The lights are off on the pace car. We will get ready to set them back, turn them loose. We're about 12 laps, or just 11 laps at the green flag to halfway. 55 laps completed with Double Nickel out in front, making their way back to the Geico restart zone. Watch that restart box. Pace cars in. Dan West Jr. fires. Everyone else comes through the gearboxes while they have to run down 55 in hot pursuit. More inside. O'Hare, Devin West, Bloom, top 5, back into turn number 1.
And immediately a fabulous start from the 55 team, but everyone that is up front needs to get going quick, because Caden Anderson's going to be the first car that is on the freshest tires. Going to be about 6 lap fresher tires than the drivers ahead. So right now, to see the damage on the 5 of Devin West, our winner from last week, you could tell when you've got left side damage, as the 5 has, that means someone came up to you and gave you a little bit of a bump. So the 5's got to be concerned with a little bit of damage that he has, but right now, still fighting strong for that 3rd place position.
That's right. We'll keep an eye on it. Is rolling on, rolling along. Back straightaway in that 3rd turn. As O'Hare, 3rd. On the podium, Samuel, he's just one of those guys that are just really good, and he just wants to win races. That's it.
Yeah, that's now the goal for all the drivers that are not with the color on them. So they're all their goals are to just get the win. And for Stephen O'Hare, been doing a great job all season, just trying to achieve that goal for himself. As we see Tyler King able to make the pass on the 2 of Thurston, and Wesley. Speaking of O'Hare and the speed that he's at, his teammate Tyler King still in the Elite 8 and still having a shot to go for a championship run as he's battling with our already locked in Devin West.
Watching them as they work their way back off of the 2nd turn. And mind you, we're also closing up on halfway, so we'll get you settled in here shortly for the Tom Denchel Auto Group mid-race report. As here comes now King up the racetrack inside. Devin West going to carry also James Thurston. Samuel, what a drive for James Thurston. Looking good tonight.
Yeah, no surprise after the amazing run that he had on Monday night. The 2 was going to be a threat here tonight for a great run and trying to get a top 5 finish is that of James Thurston. But want to give note, that Tyler King move, that is trusting your spotter and zero hesitation. The 21 almost throwing his race away, and also could have been taken out Devin West with the move that he made to get himself now up to 4th place.
Yep, watching that again as they work their way. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. LSRTV, Community Radio Network, radio coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series, Chicagoland. Down the back straightaway. We always worried about that cliche of cautions bringing cautions. And right now, Samuel, everybody, for the most part, is actually doing fairly good.
Yeah, keeping themselves in pretty nice situations, as we see that of Kevin Smith as well as Ray Fortin are going to be right on top of one another. 2 drivers, Smith just bringing out our most recent yellow, and that's trusting again your spotter telling that you're clear, making that type of a move for the 00. Coming up, trying to get a good banking and arc into turn number 1, able to do so just barely. But right now, it looked like the 00 for his last pit stop just came in, took fuel, used his fast repair. So that's why we're seeing Kevin Smith not moving forward, but staying stagnant in where he's at in 18th.
There is Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was involved in that recent caution there that we were talking about, obviously with Caden Anderson. Anderson has fell all the way back, and he's back in the top 10. He's in 6th. And, of course, Smith, the big hit, back in the red, 18th. We got to see him trying to fight through this gaggle of traffic, because there you see also Breitzman and Bloom, Lowther.
Oh, Lowther in the
Lowther
wall,
bouncing off
taking
the wall.
John Breitzman,
He hooks into Jeff Stab now.
Oh, no.
Lowther into Stab now. And the yellow flag not out yet. Wow. Race control is content, Samuel, of not throwing the caution flag unless they absolutely have to. Watch this. And again, Samuel, this bad luck for Jeff Stab now still continues. He can't even get out of his own way. He can't even, he's had a good run and just had somebody get into his way.
Yeah, and you saw Dan Lowther trying to get a good entry into the corner, just got too close to the outside wall, bangs off of it, comes down, clips Stab now, then gets into the wall. And with that contact, Dan Lowther's engine went and just could not move forward anymore, had to take a tow, and now is in pit road. Same goes for that of Jeff Stabnow, who's now in pit road, getting service done. But the man on the move, now making the pass by the 2 machine and cracking the top 5 with the freshest tires on track. It's Caden Anderson in the 37, now having his sights for 4th place where Tyler King lies.
Now, the fast repair, Samuel, that's used for engines also, right? So if you blow your engine, you're able to use it one time, or is that just for damage?
So fast repairs for the drivers, if you have any cosmetic or engine internal damage, you can use that one fast repair, and is only used once, and it gives you a completely new truck. It is for all the series ran in the Northwest iRacing series. It's where everyone has a fast repair for themselves for every race. And for that of Jeff Stabnow and Dan Lather, they had already used their fast repairs. So both drivers going to have to then stay in pit road. iRacing, based on what damage you take on, you will then have to sit into pit road for that duration of time before you can start taking off. And I take it back, I think Dan Lather might have had a fast repair still left for himself as we continue to watch the battling for 4th place. Gotta say, Wesley, Caden Anderson, he is on a mission, and it helps when you got the freshest tires out there.
Yeah. Dan Lowther back on racetrack, of course, able to continue along. And we are about to go up topside in our broadcast booth, and it is time for the Tom Denchel Auto Group mid-race report to give you a recap of everything so far and what has been, might I add, a pretty fast first half of the race. I'm Wesley Outland, Samuel Dyer alongside, and right now we're seeing a flip-flop, if you will, shades of Monday night all over again in the Cup cars, Samuel, between Dan West Jr. Well, we've had Caden Anderson lead up there some, Kevin Smith led there a little bit, flip-flopping back and forth, and man, I'm telling you, Dennis Moore, this guy is a strong truck in that orange 44, and I don't think count out Kevin Smith. I think Kevin can get back up there and say something about this race. Your thoughts of the first 70 laps?
Yeah, the first 70 laps have been chaotic. At times, think that there was going to be a lot of big wrecks. It looks like just came over the radio was that of Kevin Smith. As you can see, there's damage on the 00. It looks like it might have been contact between himself and the 11 of Frank Harris, but hey, it's been a lot of drivers up front. We saw that green flag pit stop. They're going to try to continue that on. You also see heavy damage on the 25 there of Ryan Bloom, both drivers that have shown a lot of speed up front. So, it's been a lot of misfortune here tonight, Wesley. And I think for a lot of drivers, that's kind of what the playoffs have been. It's been a lot of misfortunes for some, but those that don't, they're succeeding up front.
Samuel, who's playing possum? And who's ready to try to pull the upset, if you will, a rabbit out of a hat, as we got one of those getting into the wall out of turn number 4, saving it. No caution there. I want to say that was possibly Tidrick's truck. But, who are we watching? Who's playing possum and who's ready to try to pull this upset win here tonight, or somebody you think we should watch?
Yeah, I mean, the big driver that we're watching out for has got to be Caden Anderson. It's more of a strategy call. We thought maybe no one was going to take tires on that last last caution that came out. We saw Caden Anderson take advantage of taking tires, and it's been working out great for the 37 up to 3rd. Now as you're seeing that of Sean Breisman, Smith, as well as Bloom on screen battling these drivers, all trying to see who could stay in the top 10. But I got to say, for Caden Anderson, he might be the one driver that, if we get another caution and reset, he's going to be the driver to watch out for.
Yeah, I believe that. So we definitely need to keep an eye on Caden Anderson, not just because he's your pick and my pick, but he's just really good. And as like I said, you think of these types of racetracks, these atmospheres that he's raced, his successes and win columns have come on tracks of this caliber. And that has been the Tom Denchel Auto Group mid-race report. Enough of our ugly mugs. Let's show you back the full on-track action here at Chicagoland Speedway. And again, Dan West Jr., as we're approaching lap number 75. Samuel, this race I am impressed. It's just flying by so quickly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is that there's been so many kind of big wrecks where there's been no yellow. iRacing is who's calling these cautions, and there hasn't been any wrecks where drivers were 45 degrees or more out of shape. They've been hitting the wall, then staying straight, so no yellows have been thrown for that reason. But that means we're having a lot of trucks that are heavily damaged and having a lot of fighting battles as we continue to watch and see this battle that's been going on for that of 9th place. Bridesman, Smith, and Bloom, all playoff drivers and all having different stories. Bloom, that bold driver in 4th place, if he finishes where he's at, he's actually going to be knocked out of our top 4, and he's got to find a little bit more speed for that 25, but they don't look now. Here comes BJ Tidrick to kind of give a little bit of a spice to our 3 drivers that are battling for 9th.
Whoa! Kevin Smith sideways, threading the needle right in the middle of the pack between Brightsman and Bloom, and here comes Tidrick right back in that battle. Watch this right here. Kevin Smith and Tidrick right there with one another. I think we were going to try to find a replay of it, but I think we're going to stay with this action here, as there is the battle for the lead, as Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, Caden Anderson. And Samuel, you got to think, buddy, he got involved in an accident with Kevin Smith. Caden Anderson right back in the podium in 3rd.
Yeah, and Caden Anderson, he's climbed his way forward at the restart. We found that the 37 was back in 11th place and has now moved up to 3rd and just knocking on the door for 2nd and for the lead. Dan West Jr. and Dennis Moore, they've done a great job. I mean, they have pulled away from the rest of the field by over almost 2 seconds, but it's been the 37 that's just been inching his way forward each and every lap. But this is when things are going to get difficult, Wesley, because now you got to figure out how to work your way past these drivers that are going to try to utilize dirty air to their advantage to try to hold you back.
And the racing still continuing on. It is not done yet here at Chicagoland Speedway. Just after halfway, probably about, I don't know, less than 15 laps ago. And now we are moving in to 80 laps completed in this contest next time around. Dan West Jr. Remember, Devin West won last week. And Samuel, I'm not going to lie to you, buddy, at one time, I was thinking he was going to be my pick to win tonight.
Yeah, there were he's one of those drivers where you just know he's going to have speed. So you weren't sure. It's like, do you want to stick with the hot hand or go with who has been shown in the past to be super quick? And for Dan West Jr., he has shown it a lot this season that he could be a driver that you can pick and rely on. I mean, of his 20 starts coming into tonight's race, 4 wins for this 55 team, 5 poles, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s. I know you've been talking about how you like stats, Wesley, recently. Gotta say, those are some good-looking stats coming into the middle of the round of 8.
And Dan West Jr. is working his way, leader out of turn 4. And while we got a break in the this run, let's go and join Jeff Stab now. And Jeff, your take of the race so far at Chicagoland, and man, it's been another night of bad luck for you.
Yeah, I tell you, I blew an engine there in qualifying, and that had me starting at the back, and then somebody got loose on the second turn of the first lap right in front of me, and pretty much destroyed the truck. So I had to limp around and burn a fast repair on that green flag pit stop. And, well, I don't know if you guys caught the next one, but wasn't but a few laps later, and I think somebody bounced off the wall and put me in the wall.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're out of trucks, we're out of engines, and don't have to finish the race.
Well, you can join us on commentary if you would like to. You always,
oh no!
I got a night off. You always do a good job, for sure. Oh man, well, listen, Samuel, I'll let you ask a question as well here to Jeff Stab now at Billings, Montana, number 24. I get out of the race, just it's just been a bad roller coaster season for 24. But what do you do during the off season to get a shot to go to a championship again next year, Jeff? Do you go back to the R&D test center and test again to get as much seat time possible before Daytona? What do you got to do to try to make a run for a championship?
Well, obviously the package that came out last year, somewhere there, towards the second half of the year, I've struggled with. So, we've got to put the work in, and really just haven't put the effort into qualifying this year, I think. Starting in the back, starting in the middle, trying to come through traffic, and yeah, there's just a lot of guys that want to race you hard. Maybe when you're coming through traffic and you're not somebody they see there all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. So, but at some point, the luck excuse only goes so far. I got to look at what I'm doing is putting me in those situations, and so I think it's going to be just kind of take a look at everything, and definitely got to put some work in.
Hey, Jeff, it's Sam up in the booth. We've been seeing a lot throughout this season of drivers trying to compete, and a lot more drivers have been popping up here during the end of the season here for playoffs. How is it driving around these new guys that have been showing up, or guys that we haven't really seen since the beginning of the season? And as well, how are you feeling about competing for these next 3 races?
Well, it really depends. A lot of times, the guys that you've described, they understand that that maybe they haven't been running all year, maybe they're a little rusty, maybe they don't have the confidence yet to really race everybody. So they're pretty cordial, right? A lot of times they're out here just getting some experience, and they're okay to race around. I mean, they'll give you a lot of room if you're quite a bit faster than them. But you get into a race like tonight, and this mile and a half here tonight, I mean, it's wide open. You pin that throttle to the floor for 15, 20 laps. And really the only thing that differentiates 2 trucks those first 15 laps is, the draft that you've got, right? If somebody side draft you and slow you down, or you lined up behind somebody. And so then everybody's fast. and when everybody's fast, sometimes it can get a little dicey out there.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Jeff. Well, I guess there's ARCA for New Hampshire. On to the next one. And I will say, you've had some success in New Hampshire in the past. I was going to say that.
Those 1 mile tracks, 3/4 miles, those traps, Darlington, from Darlington down to about Richmond, I've probably had some of my better races at those tracks, right? I've had a lot of wins at those tracks. So those are pretty good tracks for me. The Iowas, the Richmonds, the New Hampshires, the Dovers, the Darlingtons. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Well, man, thank you so much. Jeff, keep your head up, man. Hopefully before the end of the season, we'll talk to you in victory lane.
Yeah, it'd be nice to pull that one off, but it is what it is. So appreciate the hard work you guys are doing. Hope you keep it up. Want to wish teammate Dan there good luck, man. I know Caden is a handful tonight. Caden's unbelievably fast, and so I know that Dan's got his work cut out for him tonight, and Stephen O'Hare too. So Bright's been up there in the mix, man. So I'm just rooting for them. Good luck to those guys.
And by the way, I want to say thank you for the new lights. Hopefully my life will be brighter by next Monday night or by Friday night. For sure. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Wasn't expecting that. Jeff Stabnow for sure. And by the way, we also want to acknowledge the fine folks at Landsmark for also providing our new apparel, that the matching shirts. It seems like every week now, Samuel and I pick the same color, and we don't color coordinate either.
No,
He's
it's
in
a lot
California.
of.
I'm in Carolina. We flip a coin.
We got 3 options, and we try not to wear the same one one race after another. So there's always a 50-50 chance that we're going to match again the next race. But as we were talking to Jeff Stabnow, Wesley, pit road has opened up for most of the field, and the drivers that are coming in, this is their money stop to make this perfect. As you see Robert Gamble, but we've already seen Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, Tyler King, Devin West, James Thurston, all have come into pit road already. Now the question is, who will be the next? Most likely, it's going to be BJ Titrick as Ryan Bloom now hits pit road.
Somebody just messaged me and said, he's my boy. Let's see who's going to win. So let's see what goes on. That's Dan West Jr. That's who Jackie Zinn is talking about. As right now, Anderson is the leader. Brightsman second. Tidrick third. Smith fourth. 48 the top five. But as Samuel just reiterated on, it is money stop time. So if you're going to go, you better go now.
And that's what Kane Anderson's thinking. Into pit road is the 37, and hoping that this money stop doesn't get caught speeding, as BJ Tidrick is as well getting service done currently. So looking at all the drivers, Kane Anderson was not caught speeding. BJ's taking his runs here, but it's our top four all still needing to come into pit road. That's Sean Bridesman, as well as Kevin Smith, Ray Fortner, and Scott Hutchinson. And see that of Dan West Jr., who just put down the fastest lap of the night, a 30.73 second lap time. The 55 leading the drivers that just came into pit road.
Amazing. Man, what a drive there, man. And Sean Bridesman now the leader back out in front. But there is Smith, 2.5 seconds back behind him. How about Ray Fournier also in third? But Samuel, these guys are ones that's got to pit. Do you think Dan West Jr. is ahead of the curve by making that pit stop strategy, and it's going to work for the 55 down the stretch as we approach under 40 laps to go?
Yeah, I mean, for that of Dan West Jr., his whole entire goal is to hope that he's built up a big enough lead to try to hold off Kane Anderson, who's in 9th place currently. So that's going to be the battle currently for those drivers. But for our front four that still have not pitted, their goal right now is banking on a yellow to come out. For that of Bridesman, Smith, Fortner, as well as Hutchinson, all four of those drivers, their goal from here on out is just to stay out until they run out of fuel, or if a caution randomly comes out and gives them a better shot, because for most of the field, they still have one more set of tires left. And then if a late caution comes out, that's when you got to roll the dice. Do you come in and use that final set early, or do you wait till the very last moment?
Yeah, that's the question for sure, man. And we'll watch it. Look at how badly damaged pancake the 46 of Sean Brightman was. Remember, he got in the wall earlier and right back in the game. And Samuel, I'm thinking Sean Bridesman, he ain't took a fast repair yet. That's why that truck still looks all beaten, battered, and banged.
He hasn't used it, and also it's been on this run where he got all that damage, so still has not even just come into pit road to service that. And there was a lot of contact being made. I know there's a lot of contact when we were doing our mid-race report. That's where the 46 got a lot of this, as well as when we were talking with that of Jeff Stabnow from the 24 team, who unfortunately is out of the race. But we've been seeing a lot of different drivers having their misfortunes coming out, and now that we're on lap 100, expecting to see our front three all come into pit road either this time or in the next 2 laps, as we already saw Ray in the 26, Ray Fortner already making his pit stop, and here comes the 46 into pit road.
Yeah, here comes Sean Bridesman, and I got a feeling he gonna fix everything. He gonna fix everything and make it all right again. Watch this playoff contender in orange outside the top 4. Bam! Back good as new, baby. Buffer it out. Buffer it out. The Brights Boutique entry back. And while that goes on, Hutchinson is the leader, but there is Dan West Jr. with a 91 pit. Sammy D, 55, back out in front. 34 to go. Here now, 33 next time by at Chicagoland.
Yeah, and I'm keeping my eyes out on the telemetry of that of Dan West Jr. and Caden Anderson as Hutchinson into pit road. The 55 is now our new leader. Dennis Moore going to be in second place, but of the drivers that are in fresh tires and those when they came in, Dennis Moore of our front five, as well as Tyler King. They came into pit road first on lap 90. It is now lap 102. Then Dan West Jr. came into pit road on lap 91. Stephen O'Hare came in on lap 92. It was Caden Anderson that stayed out an extra 3 laps later than that of Dan West Jr. And he is now fallen back to 4.5 seconds, a little bit more than that, back from the 55. And you look at their last laps, Caden Anderson running up anywhere from 0.4 to 0.3 faster than the 55. So there's still enough time. This 37 is coming with a lot of speed, and he's right on the back bumper of third place with Stephen O'Hare.
There is O'Hare outside Anderson. Right there into the corner into 1 and 2. And working off 4. Up the racetrack goes O'Hare. Open the door to Anderson. This is for third. Got him. No, not yet. Side by side, Chevrolet Ford back to turn 1.
And this looks a little bit of deja vu, Wesley, from back around lap 30-ish of this race, where Stephen O'Hare was in the lead at that time, holding off Caden Anderson on the high side. And for Stephen O'Hare, this has got to be a race control type of a move. Hold off the 37 as long as you can. Let Dennis Moore have a shot to get a second place finish here, or even a chance for a win. So O'Hare continues to keep it close.
Final commercial break. We're going to stick them side by side so you see the action, the battle for third. Who's going to win? Remember, one of these guys, if they're not in green, are punching their ticket to Vegas. Who wants it more? The finish from Chicagoland when we return.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Shootout time at Chicagoland, the Windy City 200. Welcome back to coverage. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside Rocket Media, LSRTV Productions coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. And Dan West Jr. is out in front, but guess who's coming and coming fast? Not only Dennis Moore, a second back, but 1.5 seconds back. Caden Anderson, your pick, my pick, Samuel, and Stephen O'Hare is also in that dogfight as they go to 3.
Yeah, Stephen O'Hare did the best that he can, holding off Caden Anderson for those 5 laps that we got to see side by side. And there were some sketchy moments at times where you thought maybe Stephen O'Hare was going to get indicated. Anderson. Didn't happen. But now all the pressure's on this 37 based off his last lap to this lap, running about 0.3 faster than our leader currently. And Wesley, if you do the math, 0.3 each lap, he'll catch up to our leader here in the next 10 laps.
Ready to go here as they work their way back across the start-finish line. Smith, Anderson, Lowther, back to 1 and 2. Right knuckle time, it's time to go.
There's the man who used the fast repair. We saw it on his pit stop at Sean Bridesman in 11th place currently. Still one of our biggest movers, up 10 positions from where he started during this race, and now going to be forced going 3 wide, split in the middle of Gamble and Ryan Bloom out of turn number 2, and doing so cleanly. The 46 is some of the freshest tires than everyone else around him. Biggest issue, though, is for Sean Bridesman. He's 21 seconds back from our leader, so he's just looking to possibly get up to 8th place. I think that's the furthest the 46 can get unless a caution comes out.
Lap 113 of 134. You better go now. Gotta wonder if the LRC's coming. The late race caution as well. These guys are all getting bunched up with one another. Samuel, 2 cautions to stop this race. That's been it. That's all.
Yeah, and the last one we had was back on lap 53, and since then it's been clean, green, and hard racing for a lot of these drivers. We already had our money stop. It's now about racing it to the end for all these drivers, unless a late caution does come out, which, if that happens, Wesley, all these drivers, well, the majority of them that are in the top 10 still have a set left of tires for themselves. So we'll see if a late caution comes out, if someone's going to stay out, and if they do, would that cause calamity? Because if we do see a caution from this point to the end, yeah, we are expecting them to come into pit road. We've had a total of 3 DNFs so far. Casey Garber, the most recent of those, Jeff Stabnow, and Will Duvall was our 3 drivers so far that have DNF'd and are out of this race. But Wesley, Dan West Jr., all he needs to do is just hope that no other caution comes out.
Hope and pray and fingers crossed all the way. Under 20 laps to go. Dan West Jr., the man out in front, trying to get around Catman James Vining. To the inside.
As there's James Vining on track.
Vining.
I believe actually that driver that was racing around our leader, that's Frank Harris, who's running a different scheme than usual.
Yeah, wow, got me. Normally he's in a white Ford Performance 11, man. I was thinking it was kind of those wild James Vining colors, but that is the number 11. Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody out there, by the way. Be safe if you go trick-or-treating with your family and loved ones, for sure.
As seeing the Braves machine, that's Russ Lumberg. That's going to be passed by Frank Harris. And Harris running that universal Halloween scheme that he's rocking right now. But Wesley, surprising to see. We've seen in our ticker so far, Caden Anderson was gaining about 0.3 each lap. He has stalled out these last 5 laps.
Falling
really
back.
has not been gaining much. And the main reason why is he's actually been held up by lap cars that have continuously been challenging the 37. So he hasn't been able to get into a rhythm, been in dirty air. Might be able to get by Dennis Moore, but Dan West Jr. might be able to say that himself and his son both could be locked in. If this race stays green, they both could be locked into our Championship 4 here. And, man, what a way to go out in the Championship 4 knowing that 2 out of the 4 positions are West family.
I wonder if these guys are going to get impatient as well. Definitely just somebody's going to just put a little bumper trying to move somebody out of the way, and in the process that starts calamity for sure. So, hey, remember, Arca Northwest, their playoffs continue in round number 3 of the round of 8. And that is going to be, of course, coming up on Friday from the New Hampshire Speedway. And coming in a few weeks, It's the Trans Service Blizzard Series. For the first time ever, the Sim 500 iRacing League and the Trans Service Blizzard Series is coming to LSRTV. Samuel Dyer and myself will be on the call. The Sim 500 comes to LSR on November 15th.
Well, I do want to clarify,
actually,
I'm not a for sure on that yet. I'm not a for sure if I want to be on the call or not for that event.
Hashtag fake news. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought you were. My bad. Well, anyhow, that is on a Monday night, November 15th. And that is the start of a 10-race winner series. Of course, Samuel stays busy. 13 to go. I stay busy with a lot of real sports. Samuel does a lot of esports. You definitely wear a lot of hats, bud.
I'm bouncing all over the place. It's fun getting to be on the esports side of things and keeping up on all the different drivers that are climbing the ranks on iRacing and trying to put themselves forward. And then on certain nights, being able to be in the booth for LSRTV, it is a pleasure to be a part of one of the best broadcast teams out there on iRacing. Getting to cover all the amazing action as Dan West Jr. still out front. What do you see on the ticker? That battle for second is closing in just a little bit as Dennis Moore has Smith hard into the wall for the 0-0.
Yeah. Man, I just saw that as well. 10 laps to go. Next time by, Kevin Smith just ate the concrete. As now Dennis Moore under attack by Caden Anderson for the bridesmaid spot. Samuel, if Anderson wants to go after Dan West Jr., he's got to get around the 44. He's got to go, and he's got to go now with 10 to go.
Yeah, and the biggest issue for Caden Anderson is every single truck that he has tried to get by has pressured him, and it has not been easy. You got to think, throughout this whole entire season, Caden Anderson has not made that many friends on track, so everyone is going to make it the hardest day possible for this 37. Kevin Smith was clogging up the 37 for a bit there. Stephen O'Hare was making it hard for a couple of laps. And now Dennis Moore trying to hold on for second place. He's pinching. He's keeping it close with the 37 to answer number 4. 10 laps to go. I don't see Kane Anderson anymore having enough time to even try to pressure Dan West Jr.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Dennis Moore, like, literally just saying, okay, buddy, you're not going to get around me that easily, and I'm going to pinch you down on the bottom. And you see Caden Anderson just kind of give up the fight and say, okay, I'm going to have to stop, reset. Plan A ain't working. Let's go to Plan B. Plan B, we're going to go to Plan C. Somehow, some way, I got to clear him, and time is running out, though. Shades of the hourglass, grains are running short. He better go. And right now, the interval, 3.5 seconds. After all of that back and forth with Dennis Moore, Samuel, this allowed Dan West Jr. to lick his chops and just pull away from everybody as they're going to try to go 3 wide with a lap truck on the outside. Moore in the middle. Anderson finally clears him. Does he got enough time? 7 to go at the line.
Here comes the crossover move. The 44 going to keep it aggressive and going to be side by side. Coming into turn number 1. It's contact to be made.
Contact.
Oh, no.
Moore, Anderson, playoff contenders wrecking each other. Tippers getting loose and flaring, and they wreck. Moore, Anderson, both playoff contenders crashing with 7 laps to go on the front straightaway. This changes everything, Samuel Dyer.
It absolutely does, and we noted on this earlier, you can go below the white line. It is legal to go down there, but it can be very difficult to get back on the track. Dennis Moore's going to go down onto the apron and expecting to have a little bit of room to get back on the track, comes back up, there's no space, and there they go spinning.
Bonsai'd him. Can you say bonsai'd? He bonsai'd in to the truck of 44. Into the 37 of Caden Anderson, into Dan Lowther, and a couple of others. And this is the late race caution Dan West Jr. definitely didn't want to see.
Absolutely not. And Caden Anderson's engine is gone, and he is now
done.
teleported back to pit road. This could be the end of the 37th day, and he came in second in points, Wesley. He was feeling very comfortable with over 11-point lead over that of Dan West Jr., who was fifth in points. This now completely changes the playoffs. It changes the race, and now you see practically everyone into pit road to get 4 fresh tires.
When Dan West Jr. committed to coming down to the pit lane, so did everybody else. And remember, Dennis Moore, he is still in his pit stall.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Dan West Jr. overshotting his pit stall big time. Holy cow!
He forgot that his pit stall was in the middle of the field. He thought it was up front, and he misjudged it. Oh, just like last week, pit road issues for Dan West Jr., and he throws the race away potentially here.
Oh, my goodness. You cannot make these mistakes. This is the playoffs. Playoffs, guys. Playoffs. You can't make these mistakes. Samuel, what was I thinking?
Oh,
what was he
my
thinking?
goodness. Well, he thought that his pit box was much later because he'd been running so well up front, but forgot he had qualified. Your pit box is where you qualified for this race. And Dan West Jr., his pit box was in the middle of the field, just misjudged it and had to back up 4 stalls. And because of that mistake, Dan West Jr. went from coming into pit road, our leader, to all the way back in 8th position.
And I believe it was like 6 or 7 stalls, Samuel. I think it was more than that, my friend. He literally had to go in reverse for like at least passing 4 or 5 trucks. Man, I just cannot believe that. What a heartbreak. And guess who's now being put out in the front spot? Dennis Moore, Samuel. In the accident with Caden Anderson, he never lifted. He's in the lead with all these lap trucks in the way. Obviously, the ones in front of the leader will get the wave around at the one to go. They will take advantage of that. Dennis Moore could possibly be sitting on a gold mine as the luckiest man right now in iRacing in the Northwest tonight, Samuel, because he might get this upset win.
Well, Wesley, it's not just Dennis Moore. Our whole entire top 4, 3 of those positions are all Beaver State Racing drivers. Dennis Moore in 1st, Stephen O'Hare in 3rd, Tyler King in 4th. It's the lone Devin West, who could potentially, you'll like to call a lot of drivers throughout a series, a Kyle Larson, but kind of a Kyle Larson type of a move of getting a back-to-back win in the playoffs and sweeping the first 2 races of the playoff rounds.
That's exactly right. By the way, we have seen Lake Peterson do it. Am I right, Samuel? We've seen it Monday night. Lake Peterson did it.
Yeah.
Wave around being offered. And here we go. So here's the thing. We are still in the regular scheduled distance. This is still the regular scheduled distance of lap 131 to 134. Green, white checker this time by. If the caution comes out, we will then go into 2 attempts of a green, white checker. But we're not going to even indulge in that right now, Samuel, because this is still the regular distance of the race. As the lights are off on the pace car. Wreckers, checkers, another caution, Samuel. Overtime at Chicago. What do you think we're going to see?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get ourselves into overtime. It's going to get chaotic here.
Pace car is in. Buckle up. It's got wild. Down the stretch. The playoffs. Round of 8. Round 2 at Chicagoland. Green, white, checker, and Dennis Moore has pulled away.
Dennis Moore in the lead. If he gets a win, or any of our playoff drivers besides that of Devin West, if they win, they lock themselves in for a championship victory, and Dennis Moore's officially made the pass, and the 5 just swarmed by Beaver State racing drivers.
Stephen O'Hare weaseling down to the inside, trouble. James Thurston spins.
Oh, yellow
flag, trouble off turn 4. Thurston's truck spins coming off of turn 4. Caution is out. We are going to overtime at Chicagoland.
Just about 2 football field lengths away, and a wreck out of 4.
Almost 200 yards from the start-finish line. And Thurston spins off turn 4. Battling with Sean Brightsman. Gotta wonder if Brightsman might have got into him, being a little aggressive. We'll see here on the replay. He's at the left rear, hooked him. Wow.
Center of the corner too is loose right there, and then just got finished off.
You would think that Sean Brightsman hooked him, and he was at his left rear, but actually, Samuel, Thurston's truck was already sideways, as you said, and this will tell the tale. High above, aerial coverage, presented by LSRTV. Watch this.
Yeah, I mean, you coming out of turn number 2, you can already see Sean Brightsman just has figured out the middle and off of the corner, and they're bump drafting and coming into the corner. You're going to see the 2 right here get close to the apron, getting a little bit loose, and there he goes, and just gets finished out by the 46. And for Sean Brightsman, that's going to be so demoralizing, knowing you were so fast, and in one moment, in one bump, we don't know exactly how much damage the 46 got, but it might be enough to ruin his chances of winning here tonight.
So
you
now
see the front end
go into overtime. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Samuel.
I mean, you could just you saw it there. The 46, Sean Brightsman, that front end.
Oh, wow.
Completely destroyed after that contact. And he had already seen, we saw it live on that last pit stop that he had. He had already used the fast repair. So he is stuck with this damage. And, this is demoralizing for this 46 team. And now it's the question for the drivers that are up front. They're not going to come into pit road. But where does Dennis Moore want to restart here?
Caution is out. 3 laps to go has now become overtime. And we move into overtime. So let's set it up for you here. This will be the first attempt at overtime. They're going to make another lap under caution. Green flag. They come around, they take the CRN1 to go, which is the white flag. Race is official, whatever happens from there. Now, if they take the green, and if something happens before they come to the white, the caution is thrown. We reset for a second and final attempt. I know there one time earlier in the playoffs I said 3 attempts, but there's actually only 2. So if a caution comes out, then the field is frozen at the area of where the yellow was thrown at the recent scoring loop, just like NASCAR does for real, Samuel. And they base the finishing order on that certain time lapse off the track to determine the running order. So that is the way it is done. Hopefully, we'll see these guys get to a checkered flag.
Yeah, that's the whole entire goal. We don't want to see that similar finish to Gateway last week for the Cup Series when we actually made that missed call. Thought they were going to do 3 attempts, only had 2, and Lake Peterson 1 under yellow. Could happen here in the trucks, could finish under yellow as well, but, with that, us having a green-white checkered in the regulation time, hey, it kind of feels like we get 3 attempts in a way.
That's true. I didn't really think of that, but you're right. Ready to settle it out here, Dennis Moore, Devin West. Remember, Devin West won at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Gateway last Wednesday night. I just find it ironic that he is in truck number 5. Kyle Larson in car number 5. Samuel, I just thought about that.
Yeah, It's one of those things. Honestly, Kyle Larson has been your favorite phrase to name people, and it's been great because you've been calling everyone, hey, Kyle Larson like.
Well, I mean, when you're doing what Larson's doing in the virtual world, getting it done, I mean, wow. Give him credit where credit's due. He's on the outside. Got to get a jump on this restart. Pace car is in overtime. Number 1. Got to let Moore go first. He will through the gearboxes. They got a whole bunch of back doors and the fenders going to turn number 1. Tailgate to tailgate to tailgate. Inside, Moore pulls away. King and West. Brightsman back up there. 3 wide for second contact. King saves it.
King going to be staying down low, but he's going to come with too much speed. But it's Sean Brightsman who's going to hold on. Coming out of turn 4, though, it's still Dennis Moore in the lead.
CRN, 1 to go. White flag, race is official. Wreckers or checkers this lap. Dennis Moore trying to punch his ticket in to the championship 4 at Vegas. Now, West trips up in Moore hair for the final time to the back straightaway.
Stefano O'Hare, a beautiful crossover move. Now he's in position. Block, defend. Let Dennis Moore go. And the 44 with a shot to lock himself in.
Beaver State Racing, you have punched yourself into a championship 4. It is now Devin West and Dennis Moore gets it done. What a comeback. Surviving the chaos with Caden Anderson with under 10 to go. And Dennis Moore, Samuel Dyer, has punched his ticket to Viva Las Vegas, baby, for a Northwest Truck Series championship.
What a week at Chicagoland. The 2 races that he actually ran this week in the Northwest Racing Series. The 44 has gone to victory lane. He won Friday in the ARCA Series here at Chicagoland.
Right.
Missed out on the Cup race, but when he showed up here tonight, the cards fell where they lied, and it's the 44 victory lane and now challenging for championship at Las Vegas.
What a battle down to the wire, and when it's all said and done, again, the driver of Dennis Moore is going to Vegas. Second driver now to punch their ticket into the postseason here. And Dennis Moore, by the way, picks up his 2nd win of the season. He won also back on July 21st. It's been a while, Samuel, at Nashville. Remember that race, Nashville Super Speedway. He won in the Truck Series back in July, so it's been a while for the driver of the 44. But nonetheless, he gets it done here tonight at Chicagoland, and he is on to the Championship 4 finale at Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, that is the biggest thing, Dennis Moore. I mean, he missed out on a couple of races, no longer in a championship hunt for the ARCA Series. This was his one and only championship as they are flying all over the place. But congratulations to the 44 team. The one championship he is in, he is now locked in for a shot at going for a Trucks Championship.
Dennis Moore, no wins in the Cup Series. He's overall in 25th right now, eliminated from the ARCA playoffs. But again, this was his last battle, and he knows come November 17th, he is racing for the Northwest iRacing Truck Championship finale at Vegas. Here is your Windy City 200 results in overtime. 1 attempt. Dennis Moore, the winner, over Stefano O'Hare, Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, Devin West. Hell, they were fighting for it. What a show. Frank Harris, 6th, Samuel. 6th for Frank Harris. What a drive for him. Tyler King, Ryan Bloom, James Vining, a good run for the Catman, and Robert Gamble as well, your top 10.
Yeah, and then in 11th, you got B.J. Tidrick in the 72, going to get 11th place. John Ottenbacher going to get 12th. James Thurston, after being spun around, going to get 13th. Stephen Paulson, 14th, finishing out your top 15 is going to be Ray Foreigner, as well as Aaron Cooper in 16th. Scott Hutchinson in 17th. 18th goes to that of Eric Chaney. Troy Daggett. And for the driver that is in now of a bigger hole, in a must-win scenario, Kevin Smith finishing out in 20th.
Yeah, man, that is just heartbreak there. He's got to get himself out of that. Russ Lundberg, Caden Anderson, Bryce Clark, Dan Lowther, Casey Garber, Jeff Stabnow, and Will Duvall. The full field run down the trucks. Bryce Clark also was feeling hopeful for him, but he had another bad day as well. That's the way they wrap them up. Coming up, the Finish Line post-race show. Finish Line every Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central on LSRTV Productions on our YouTube channel. And when we come back, we will talk to Dennis Moore. Second win of the season, and more importantly, it's a win to go to the Championship 4 at Vegas. Back here on coverage of LSRTV and CRN Community Radio Network, and it's the Finish Line post-race show. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland back here with you. We're going to talk to our top three. Dennis Moore, his second win of the season for the Trucks, and this win punches his ticket along with Devin West for two drivers now in the final finale race at Vegas. Third place, though, is going to go to the driver, of course, of Dan West Jr. Dan, I think me and Samuel could agree your truck was by far the strongest. Things just changed in the overtime run, didn't it, to settle for third?
Yeah, I mean, we just got bit again by some bad luck. I don't know what else to do. I think we did all we could do to make the truck faster all night long. I started out with a really good base. Thankful to Jeff Stabnow. I mean, that was all Jeff Stabnow there, setup-wise. And I just kept dialing on it, and I felt like we just kept gaining and gaining, and it paid off towards the end of the race. I mean, I was actually saving, so I had something there in case Caden got up there because I knew he was on a little fresher tires. But the yellow come out, and then I was screwing around with putting tape on and everything else and missed my pit stall. So it's on me again. I messed up in Gateway and screwed myself, so got myself again. So I just got to go back and work hard and see what we can do the next race.
I mean, Dan, yes, it was a mess up, but luckily still a third place finish, and the drivers that you're trying to catch up to, they had bigger mistakes than what you had here tonight. But I mean, Dan, you note on it, getting better each and every time that you were putting a lap down. How are you feeling like that's going to be helping you out going into next week, New Hampshire, kind of similar to Gateway where you were just as fast?
Oh, I feel pretty good. I mean, we got a really strong team, and with the team working together like we do, I feel like that we'll build a good set. Right now, it's just kind of frustrating. Obviously, for me, I feel like 2 races I should have been in the winner's circle, and I had nobody's fault but my own. It was all my fault. So I got to clean myself up, evidently. So congrats to Dennis and Beaver State Racing Team. I'm glad to see if anybody wins it. I'm glad to see them guys win it. So, but yeah, we'll go to New Hampshire and have some more fun.
To be a fun time for sure. As always, Dennis, Dan, we're going to wrap it up here, get Dennis's thought, obviously, in victory lane very soon. But, man, I will tell you the points just updated. You can thank your sponsors as well. You're up 2, you're third. You're still in the Final 4.
Appreciate that, guys. I know some other guys had some bad luck too, so hate to see that, but it's gonna be a tough road this next 2 races as we got a little bit of short track racing involved at New Hampshire. So I'd like to thank Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, and everything you guys do up in booth, and Tom Dench Alder Group. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. There is Shelton Washington, Dan West Jr., third in the points, third here tonight at the Chicagoland 200 for the Windy City 200. Second spot is going to go to the driver, of course, of Stephen O'Hare. Stephen, man, this was this race was crazy. I mean, this second shot overtime, did you feel like you had an opportunity to go after the man, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., everybody around you, or you just kind of just be patient and be where you're at, because you're a driver that's just looking for a win. You're not racing for a championship.
Yeah, showed up just going for the win, but was excited to be up front there at the end. Dan had a really fast truck, and I think he was going to be tough to beat, but I could not be more excited and happy for Dennis. He's put in a ton of time and work on setups, and it's really nice to see that paying off. Glad to see that he's making it to the championship 4. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I really had anything for those guys. Started off pretty fast, but just didn't really keep up with the truck.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, we saw on the long green flag run, you were holding off that Caden Anderson, and Caden got by you. You saw him fighting with Dennis, and then they made contact. What was going through your mind when you saw both those trucks just explode in front of you?
I was really surprised and a little worried, where I felt like I was coming up pretty quick on that, and it looked like a bunch of chaos there. But yeah, ran Caden pretty hard. I think that was a good battle, and I felt like probably overdrove the ability a little bit there, and provided us an opportunity, so thankful for that.
Stephen, what is the racing like? And you can also thank your sponsors in closing, but what is the respect factor like? Knowing you're not racing for a championship, but you're racing for a win. You want to win. You were in the first round of the playoffs, might I add, but you want to win. You want to win races, but where does the respect factor come, or who you choose to respect for the way drivers have treated you throughout the season?
Well, honestly, I we're here to race, and it's really fun racing hard. I think that it's enjoyable. I've had great battles with a number of guys. My philosophy has probably changed a little bit, just in the giving. I'll race hard, but I try not to take lines or block too aggressively with guys that are in the playoffs still. And I think hopefully that pays dividends next season. Continuing to learn and grow, to keep the truck clean and be there at the end. Tonight was a great example. So yeah, I think we are at the end of the season. We've been racing each other for a long time, so you know who you can race hard and who is a little unpredictable.
Well, sponsor time, man. Thank you for your time, Stephen. Get them next week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, we'll be ready and raring to go. I think Tyler's probably down in there in points, so we'll have to work on getting him a hot rod for New Hampshire. But definitely got to thank American Touch-Up Paints, Nicole Bryan Photography, Heels, Mandarin Oranges, and then of course the Northwest Racing Series. Like I said, it's really about having a ton of fun and getting out here and racing and competing. And then you guys at LSRTV for allowing all of our friends and family and fans to watch this great racing. Well,
there is the thoughts, of course, of the driver, Stephen O'Hare. And again, it's a fickle line when you're one of those drivers looking for a checkered flag, but you're also got guys fighting for a championship. His thoughts in there, and he finishes in second here tonight at Chicagoland. The victory lane we go. Second win this season. Biggest win, though, because it punches him in to Vegas with Devin West in a few weeks for the championship final at Las Vegas. He has also moved up to second in the points, obviously, behind Devin West. And that is the driver of the Beaver State Racing, number 44, Dennis Moore. Congratulations. And what a comeback after the incident between you and Caden Anderson. Let us rehash on that and then the survival of the fittest, if you will, to win the race.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel like I stole this win. Dan definitely had the fastest truck. We probably had a third place truck or so. But Kate and I were just racing hard, and I don't know if I came up on the track from the apron too fast or what happened. But we can talk about that later on. Obviously, he probably would have passed me. I was content finishing third, but we just got into it there, and something happened on Dan's pit stop. I guess he said he missed his pit stall, so I ended up coming out first, and here we are. So I guess I got lucky here tonight. So it was definitely a fun race, tough race, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis, like you said, you kind of felt like you locked out being up front. But when you were up front, you had to do 2 restarts. Both were going to be green-white checkered attempts. How and what were your nerves like on those restarts, knowing that, hey, if I got a good launch, I've got a shot to race for a championship?
I was pretty good, actually, because I knew I had Steph and Tyler behind me. Obviously, we're going to work together on restarts. Devin's out there by himself, so he's fighting as hard as he can. But I knew if I got a good jump, it'd be tough to pass. I mean, the drop is quite substantial here, but it's also hard to pass. So I felt pretty confident on both restarts. I wish we would have got it done the first restart, but it worked out on the second as well. So,
what do you feel like it's going to be like now, Dennis, being one of those drivers along with Devin West to race for the championship? How do you put the focus in, knowing that you've still got New Hampshire, you've got the race at Homestead, but you don't have to race it. You really don't. You could take off and get R&D practice for Vegas if you wanted to know that you're racing for a championship.
Yeah. No, obviously we're still going to put the work in. Tyler's he needs to get a win, so he can get 2 Beaver State guys up in Vegas for the championship. So I'll be putting the work in for the rest of the races. Still be racing hard, trying to get wins, get the momentum going, and hopefully have a good setup for Vegas.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations to you. A big win before we do let you go. Thank your sponsors, and go get them next week. And obviously, I think you're one of the first drivers to win ARCA on Friday night and at least win a cup or truck, or try to do both on the same event as well. So big kudos to you, Dennis Moore. I just keep saying, man, you're getting better and better, and tonight just proved it again.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. First, I'd like to thank my teammates, Steph and Tyler and Paul. Those guys are a lot of fun to race with, working on strategy and stuff like that. Nicole Bryan Photography, Tom Denschel Auto Group. Those guys are huge. I got that pot on Friday night for $125, so that race was definitely worth racing. And obviously you guys at LSRTV and all these guys in the Northwest Racing Series.
Well, there is again Dennis Moore picking up the win of the 44. By the way, the points have officially resetted now, or they've been updated after Chicagoland. Devin West is the man. Dennis Moore second with the win today, up by 1 spot. Up 2 spots is Dan West. Ryan Bloom is 4th. Sean Breitzman down 4. In 6th is Caden Anderson, Tyler King, and Kevin Smith. The top 8 going into next week's race at New Hampshire. One more quick break from our word of our sponsor, Tom Denschel Auto Group, and Samuel and I'll wrap it up from the Windy City.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
And we welcome you back to, of course, Chicagoland. Samuel, that's a wrap, man. There ain't really nothing much to talk about. What a dominant performance by Dennis Moore, overcoming the odds, the craziness between him and Caden Anderson. And I'll say this in my closing thoughts, and you can say yours. We see it weekly in NASCAR with the championships in Xfinity Cup and Truck. The headlines, the stories, the drama. We saw that tonight between Caden Anderson and Dennis Moore, and Dennis Moore was still able to survive the battle, win the war here at Chicagoland, and now race for a championship at Vegas.
Yeah, big props to Dennis Moore for now being locked in, having that pressure taken off. Now there's only 2 positions open, and those 2 spots could be taken away in these next 2 races on whoever gets the win. So pointing your way in might not be an option if you see some newcomers getting some victories, which you'll look at Dan West Jr. and Caden Anderson, both drivers that easily could win one of these next 2 races. So for all the drivers that are outside, like that of Ryan Bloom, Sean Breitzman, Tyler King, and Kevin Smith, those 4 drivers need to find an extra little bit of speed. But tonight it was a circus at times. You didn't know what you were going to be seeing, who was going to be juggling where. But Caden Anderson got bullied by him, and Smith made contact. Then Moore. Caden's building up he already had a reputation, but now he's got to be careful, as well as other drivers. Those playoff drivers, they're not going to play nice at Las Vegas with the way that you're treating them now.
Final question, and we're done here. You give your thought. You got Devin West, and now you got Dennis Moore. What do you think we're going to see next week at New Hampshire?
I think next week in New Hampshire, we got to watch out for the West and LSRTV crew. That means Dan West Jr., Sean Breitzman. Those are the 2 drivers that I think those are the 2. We saw how quick they were at Gateway last week. New Hampshire, pretty similar with the banking and with it being a short track race. I'm expecting both those drivers to be quick, but you never know. Caden Anderson, he is always a threat each and every race.
And you think of also a guy like Stephen O'Hare and what he did today. Jeff Stabnow could possibly get that win, fingers crossed, next week at New Hampshire. One more final look at Chicagoland. The playoffs for ARCA begin on Friday at New Hampshire, next Tuesday and Monday and Wednesday for the Cup and the Truck Series. Follow us always at LSRTV and at Searin Sports for all of our coverage at LiveSimRacingTV.com and WeAreSearin.com. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, everybody at Rocket Media, LSRTV Productions, for Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland from the Windy City. Congratulations, Beaver State Clan!